Thank you so much for staying with the Monday Report extended version of the town hall. We want to sincerely apologize for that slight technical hitch, but we had to make sure that we do this for the people because at the end of the day, it's their budget. We promised them as the conversation, and we're going to have that conversation despite all the technical difficulties that we may have. But we sincerely apologize for that, and we also want to say a big thank you for all of you for staying with us here on the Monday Report. We're live from the Salama Jamia Masjid Hall in Kibra. We're talking about the budget. My guests are still with me, and thank you so much for your patience. Honorable John Mbadi, Cabinet Secretary for Treasury, asante sana for staying. Honorable Peter Ochieng Orero, Member of Parliament for Kibra, thank you so much for staying. Honorable Robert Alai, MCA for Kilelesho, asante sana for your patience. And Honorable Chieng Jera, MCA Lindy Ward, thank you all for staying with us here on the Monday Report Town Hall session. We had opened this floor for the people to ask their questions in their own way, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So the microphones were right in front of me over here. Tafadhali, start with your name and your question directly to Waziri or the panelists that we may have.
Thank you so much. My name is Kur Osman. I'm the Kenyan Nubian Ambassador. Once again, thank you so much for honoring. It's an honor to have you, Waziri, here. I'll go straight to my question. Number one, I think every Kenyan has a right for information. The finance bill has been like an intricate thing, very complicated for common Mwananchi to understand. What do you have in place to give Mwananchi the right information and in a simplest way for them to understand? Secondly, my question is, the Kenyan government ever since has been running on deficit for decades now. Nothing has changed. Since I was in primary school, I used to heard about that. I think the first vocabulary I've learned about deficit. I started learning about deficit when I was in primary school. So, what plans do you have in place so that we can have a surplus budget?
Okay.
Because we have a surplus budget in there's countries in Africa that have surplus budgets like Botswana and Congo.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's take another question behind you over there. Waziri, I'll only take 4 questions. You respond really quick, and then we move on to the next session. Yes?
Good evening. Kwa majina naitwa Naima Ibrahim. Swali yangu ni pande ya education. Niko na issue na pande ya education sana. Kuna hiyo pesa ya wafanyikazi. Especially watoto wanafukuzwa shule kila term, pesa ya wanafanyikazi, of which class moja iko na watoto 64. Kwa watoto 64, unapata mtoto mmoja anatumwa 1,500 per head. So tunashindwa hiyo pesa ya wafanyikazi inasaidia wapi kama government iko na hiyo pesa ya fundings. Number 2, mambo na pads. Watoto wetu wasichana wengi wamezaa nyumbani. Wengine wametoka shule kwa sababu gani? Hawana pads. Unapata hao vijana wetu wa community ndio wanawasaidia, wanaenda kupata mimba, hawana anything. Issue ya pads utatusaidia because I believe kwa hiyo finance bill mambo na pads lazima ikuwe allocated.
Okay, asante sana. Naima, yes. Let's take one more and then Waziri will answer and then we'll continue. Yes.
Asante sana Waziri, tena ni shukran kuwa Kibera siku ya leo. Kasisi Daniel Shanzu ndilo jina langu, mkaaji wa Kibera. Waziri, swali langu linakuja likiwa linataka ukaweze kurudi nyuma mwaka mmoja uliopita. Kulikuwa na Wakenya waliinuka na hasa vijana, na walipokuwa barabarani, moja jambo ambayo ilikuwa sana na hata ikawa sio vijana peke yao, ni sisi sote wananchi, ilikuwa ni hii madeni ambayo tulikuwa naelezwa Kenya tuko na madeni. Lakini hakuwa na mfumo ile ambayo inatuonyesha hii madeni inalipwa vipi. Na moja wapo, Waziri, kwa nini ukaweza kuletwa akili ambayo ni safi kama yako? Ilikuwa ni ya kwamba kando na kuwa na madeni tunaelezwa ni kiasi hii, akili yako safi Waziri ilikuwa ni ya kwamba uje pia tuonyeshe ni formula gani serikali itaweka ya kuonyesha wazi kabisa namna madeni haya yanavyolipwa. Ningependa kuomba kwa nini yako, kwa bajeti yako, je, utakuwa unatuonyesha mwaka huu tumekuja umbali gani na namna mikakati tunalipa madeni hayo wazi.
Asante Kasisi. One more question here, then I'll let Waziri respond and then we continue. I'll come back to you, do not worry. Yes.
My name is Buthaina Asindwa. And Honorable CS, I want to start by quoting what you said at the very beginning of your introduction. You said that for a society to be better, we must handle the most weak in the society. The most weak is here with you today. We are the common mwananchi, we are the proletariats, right? So you said, all of us, sisi wote, common mwananchi, we just want to survive, but we are tired of the repeated cycle of just survival. I want to tell you, CS, that for an economy to thrive, you have to put policies that not only ensure survival, but rather thriving. Pia si tunataka kutoka ghetto. We just don't want it to be repeated and repeated and repeated, like we're not getting out of the ghetto, you see. And the World Bank has consistently stated that for an economy to grow and thrive in the long term, the working class, the common Mwananchi and the proletariat are like they have to stop facing economic underdevelopment and inequalities. And this bill, there's something that I would like to ask you that are really going to affect the common Mwananchi. For example, VATing or making the zero-rated items and products VATable. Unga ilikuwa zero rated, mkati ilikuwa zero rated, maziwa ilikuwa zero rated, and now we are looking at all of them being VATed, and not the VAT of the normal 16%, but rather an increased VAT of 18%. Maziwa inaenda kutoka 65%, inaenda kutoka 65 bob to 75 bob. Unaona, hiyo inamaanisha no good breakfast. Mkati expensive, maziwa expensive, unga hatuwezi afford. Look at the farmers. Agriculture wamesema there's going to be a 5% tax on all agricultural sales and products. Hiyo inamaanisha nini? Skuma like kila kitu kwa soko hatuta afford. You see, and then there's the excise duty where all essential goods are being taxed 25% on essential goods. Hiyo inamaanisha price ya mafuta inaenda kupanda, sabuni inaenda kupanda. Let's look at energy and fuel. An increased 10 shillings on fuel per liter. Fuel inaenda ku expensive. We won't be able to go to and from work for us to bring for you the taxes that you want to raise from us.
Okay, thank you.
And lastly, very lastly,
yes.
At health. Yes. Last year, in the last financial bill, we were looking at taxing of cancer treatment. And like Neema just said, in the ghetto we're experiencing like a lot of early and rampant teenage pregnancies. And in the bill, we have an introduction of neonatal care. As in, kujifungua inenda kukua tax. Right now alone, there is no vaccines in the hospitals already. So that is what has been proposed in the 2025 financial bill. And would like to ask you, how are you going to cater for the common mwananchi in this, okay, draconian seemingly bill?
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Asindwa. In fact, I'll give you a chance. Waziri, you can start by answering Asindwa and then we continue. She's concerned about unga, bread and milk.
Thank you.
Yes.
In fact, I'm persuaded to start with Shareholder Asindwa.
Yes, Asindwa.
I'm persuaded to start with you and to start with the VAT. Unfortunately, you are addressing propaganda finance bill, not the one that is in National Assembly. In the finance bill that is before the National Assembly, there is nowhere in that bill, and you can take, I can take a bullet for it. There is nowhere where we are putting VAT on bread. We have not even touched bread. It's not even mentioned in that bill. Milk is not even mentioned. Unga is not even mentioned. That bill that is being talked about in social media is not my bill. It's a bill that is manufactured by opposition, and you seem to have bought it. And you are talking about 18%. There is no time that the government of Kenya has thought of increasing VAT from 16 to 18%. So I want to just give you assurance. Those things you have mentioned, no one is touching on them. No one is going to subject to tax neonatal care. I heard that we are going to tax newborn babies. That's a propaganda bill. The actual bill which I carry here today, you can read it from page 1 to the last page. There's nothing like that. And I want to just plead with you. And that is why sometimes I ask myself, we are all Kenyans. This country belongs to us. Even if we want to make the government look bad, let us have facts. Let us not peddle propaganda just to create distortion. By the way, in December, when I brought tax laws amendment bill to Parliament, there was a lot of propaganda, fake things that were not in the bill. And it is a bill that was progressive. which has helped now, and people are appreciating and they're thanking us, that now if you retire, your pension is not taxable. That would have been lost if you listened to propaganda. There is nothing I want to repeat. And by the way, I felt really sad when you were talking, when you were speaking, that you have addressed another bill which is not the finance bill that I submitted to Parliament. But now, on the issue of economic policies that would help the low in the society to come up, I think that is a valid concern. Actually, one of the reasons why we had the demonstrations and the uprising of the Gen Zs was because many of them are desperate. These children are coming out of school without jobs. And yet you are told that you go to school to break away from the culture, the cycle of poverty. And so the role of government is to make sure that we create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive, for investment to thrive, to expand job opportunities, to create job opportunities for our people. And that is what we are doing, and there are a number of steps that we are taking. First, we are addressing the cost of energy, which has even caused us a problem here. The energy reliability, the cost of it, is one of the reasons why Kenya is not competitive. Secondly, the cost of credit to the private sector. And that is why we are managing public debt so that government does not borrow from our financial institutions to the extent of crowding out the private sector. When you crowd out the private sector, they will not be borrowing money to invest in business, to expand business and create job opportunities. So we are working very hard, and you can see from last year, around the same time, 91-day Treasury bill of government was going for 16%. Today, it is being sold at 8.5%. What is the value of that? The value of that is when the government is borrowing at a lower cost, then now it becomes more attractive to loan to the private sector. And that is how to create job opportunities. And we are also creating in every county. We have provided 4.5 billion shillings to complete construction of county aggregated, what we call KIPES, centers. And these are going to help in creating, in adding value to our products, the agricultural products, right down in the villages, in the rural areas, to create job opportunities. We must create job opportunities to our people. That is the only way we can get them out of poverty. And finally, to get people out of poverty, you must invest in education. And that is why this government is continuing to invest even more in education, in high school education, in university education. I've just mentioned that we are giving more money to help. In TVETs, we are giving not only capitation, but we are also giving scholarships to TVETs. Okay. And so many other things. Sorry, I took so long in addressing one of the...
There was another one from Kasisi Shangi who says madeni zinalipwa vipi.
I want to now go back to the first one, Osman. That finance bill is very difficult to understand. We have tried to make it more simple. We have even produced the Mwananchi guides. We have produced an explainer. Maybe what we need to do, and I am with my director here, and two directors here, we need to find a way of distributing copies to more Kenyans, to be able. We can even give people's representatives. We can print some copies and give them so that people can understand the finance bill and also the budget. I know many of us tuko na shida kutofautisha. Yes, that is the Kiswahili word that I was looking for. Between finance bill na budget. Kuna tofauti. Finance bill is revenue raising measures, but budget is revenue expenditure. Now, the other question was Kenya government
will we ever have a
always balanced budget. It is not bad to borrow money to invest. What you need to be careful about is how do you borrow? Borrow responsibly, borrow cheaply, and borrow within your fiscal framework. Almost all developed countries, we may talk about Botswana and the rest, But almost all developed countries don't have balanced budget. The US does not have it. The UK does not have it. China does not have it. So most countries borrow.
Okay.
Only that they borrow responsibly, and that is where Kenya is moving to.
Yeah.
Now, on Ibrahim, you asked a question, uliuliza swali juu ya pesa zile zinatoshwa kwa wazazi, na umepeana example ya Moi Educational Center. Yes, ninajua kuna mashule mengi sana bado wanaendelea kutosha wanafunzi hizi pesa ya kulipa watchman na kadhalika, lakini serikali tunatoa pesa ya capitation. Hiyo pesa ya capitation, kazi ya pesa ya capitation ni kulipa vitu kama hizo. It may not be enough, but we are really trying to give as much as we possibly can within the fiscal framework.
Okay.
However, my stand as government would be head teachers, principals, don't ask parents to pay for money when the government is giving capitation. Live within your means as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sanitary pads, we have provided money, especially for schools. Tumepeana pesa in the budget through the women reps, because there was that discussion back and forth. The women reps have been complaining that if you give the money to the Ministry of Education, it is not spent prudently. That money is available. In this budget, we have provided 940 million for provision of sanitary towels to our students in school, to our girls in school. The last one was Shanzu.
Yeah.
You asked about transparency, in short, accountability in terms of debts. Right now, immediately I got into office, I requested the Auditor General, because I made a commitment to the people of Kenya that we will audit our debt register. And that, even though debt register is actually public, that is something that I think people don't know. But if you go to Treasury website, you will find debt register. It is there. You will see the loans we owe people and who we owe the loan. All multilateral loans, that is the World Bank loan, the IMF loan, the African Development Bank, be it OPEC, those are multilaterals. The bilaterals, whether Chinese loans, whether loan to Japan, etc., they are there. But because there have been questions around our public debt, we asked the Auditor General to do the audit, and is already conducting that audit. She has not concluded auditing the debt register. You know, it is an independent office. We cannot apply pressure on her. But then when that report is finalized, we will make it public. There's nothing to hide. Okay. And going forward, if you feel that what is in our website is not enough, we will make that public for you, more public.
Okay.
Going forward, we have taken note of that.
Right.
I think that is what I wanted to.
There's still more questions from the public, and I'll come to you in just a bit. Let me hear from Honorable Alai. What is your concern with the current budget or the finance bill before we open the floor again?
Thank you, Trevor. I think my current concern is in regards to the capital city, where the capital city plan, and in relation to the national government, is that sometimes we find the situation we have, especially on the core functions, and this is roads, health, education. The primary education is devolved, roads, agriculture, and so on. You find that there is a tap allocation. Okay. The government is allocating, the national government is allocating some budget.
Let me pass to you the handheld microphone. Where is it? Let me give you the handheld microphone so that we can hear you much more clearly. Let me pass for me the microphone for Dali. Yes. Thank you, Naima. All right. There you go. Can you use this so that you're more audible?
Thank you. Yeah. So Poleni. Yeah. So I think our challenge has been that the issue of double allocation. That sometimes you go to a situation like here in Kibra, you want to make a road, you find that the MP is trying to put the road onto the budget of the national government, while the MCA is also struggling to put the same road in the budget. So when it comes to double allocation, to reverse that takes a lot of time, sometimes up to 6, 7, or even 1 year. And it wastes a lot of time, and the road ends up not being made because two parties are fighting. So I think what you are fighting for is to have a framework to ensure that the government, these two levels of government, works in such a way that they are in sync. We know that the MP is going to handle this, the MCA should handle this road. So that is not the same with agriculture. You find that there's allocation for, value addition, like now in Nairobi we're trying to do a little bit of monitoring the meat which is coming into Nairobi, which is being consumed. You know that the biggest abattoir we have is in Kiambu County. But when it's brought into Bama market, we want to monitor, is that food fit for consumption? So sometimes you find that what the kind of projects the national government is trying to drive, you see the building of the markets and so on, and even healthcare. You see the struggle we have with the health. Sometimes it's because of what we are trying to do at two levels of government, but we don't communicate. Okay. So these are some of the things we have been trying to deal with the ministry to ensure that we work together as a team. We are all Kenyans. National government, county government, we are all Kenyans, and to ensure that the service is delivered, especially also to the youth. The last thing is the digital economy. You see the creative economy, which is devolved function. It's within ICT, but it's a devolved unit within that sector. So we want to ensure that whatever the county is doing, the ICT authority in the Ministry of ICT is able to build the capacity of the MCAs and the county executive to ensure that we don't double allocate. Thank you.
Honorable Borero, your concern as well, so that Waziri answers them before I open the floor to the people. Yes.
Thank you, Waziri. My concern is really about the people of Nairobi. We have always been neglected when other regions are considered. Your budget should be skewed. It is only in Nairobi where we still have darkness. You find that you are here and you cannot access services for electricity. The roads in Nairobi are very poor. While you go to rural areas, some areas, the cows are sleeping on the roads. So why can't you make your budget skewed also to serve the people of Nairobi? Two, about education. I have seen in your budget that the free primary capitation has reduced slightly, yet we need to give more money to allow for free primary education. What are you going to do? Are you going to bring it in the supplementary budget, or how is it going to be for the free primary education? Thank you.
Okay, Jera.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Fred. First of all, let me say that what the CS is doing is very important. It is important because it's giving wananchi an opportunity to understand and interrogate the budget-making process. And also it helps us to understand how the revenues can be raised, the measures of raising revenues to our people. As it is in the Constitution Article 201 of the Kenyan Constitution. Two, what I wanted to talk about is that in regard to roads in the Republic of Kenya, measured per kilometer, 70% of the roads in this country are county-based. But when they're giving money to the counties, you realize that counties only get 15% of the annual collection. That is 15%. The national government remains with 85%. How will the counties, the 47 counties, manage 15%? Remember, with the health department, they are only given less than 3 billion. While the real money that they should be having yearly should be around 15 billion, because the health department is really very important. Lastly, 65 years after independence, 65, 66 years after independence, there are some wards in this country where even a public facility, like public primary school, like public health facility, are not there. A better example is my ward in Lindi, just next door. There is no public school, there is no public health facility, and you are in Kenya, while others have more than 30 primary schools. Where is the equity?
All right.
The issue of electricity. In some areas, even cows are given lights during the night. But in Lindi, in Kibera, the whole of this slum, where we have a population of about 1 million, you have seen it by yourself.
Okay.
It is worrying.
All right. Thank you. Waziri, you can respond to your fellow panelists very briefly, straight to the point, and then I open the floor for questions from Wananchi, so that you don't forget the questions that are coming your way.
And
yes.
I agree with the lie.
Yes.
You know, when you look at devolution, the way it works everywhere in the world, there is usually special treatment to capital city. Capital city is never treated as an ordinary devolved unit like we are treating Nairobi. I think that is something that we may need to think about, because I think the way we have structured our devolution, it may not work for Nairobi, and it seems to us, it is clear that it's not working. Remember last time, we almost made an attempt to roll back by nationalizing, so to speak, Nairobi, yet it is a county. That is not the solution. The solution should be to structure devolution for Nairobi differently from the other 46 counties. That is for Kenyans to discuss. But I agree that we may need to have a conversation around how do we do the roads in Nairobi, and even other devolved functions like agriculture. Sometimes when you talk about agriculture in Nairobi, people think Nairobi should not have agriculture. But agriculture in Nairobi is tenable, is a viable initiative. On digital economy, and I want to mention that, yes, the national government will work very closely with the county government. We have even provided for some allocation under ICT on Kenya Digital Economy Acceleration Project, which has seen an enhanced budgetary allocation, getting over 2.7 billion more. So we need to see how then because this is going to help in providing employment to the youth that we were talking about, that my sister there eloquently elaborated, and you spoke with passion on how to get those low in the society to come up. Has she left?
No,
she's here.
Yeah.
I liked your passion and concern. Now, Honorable Borero, again, has just emphasized the neglect of Nairobi, that we should skew our budget towards Nairobi. I know we have ITS program that is coming. We are trying to improve the transport system in Nairobi. There is budgetary allocation, both from the GOK counterpart funds, and there is also the development partner funding. So this is a project that has been moved forward, and I think it is going to be actualized in the coming financial year. But we need to provide more resources again to Nairobi, as I said. On free primary education, I want to agree with you that, yes, we had provided last year 8.4 billion for free primary education. This year it is 7.9. That's a decrease of about 500 million shillings. It is because of the fiscal space. Actually, we had a lot of difficulty in working around this budget because, one, we didn't want to overproject revenue. For the first time, you will realize that our revenue is so, to me, very low in terms of projection. So that is a more realistic revenue. And so having done that, we also didn't want to have a big budget deficit because that would automatically disrupt our macroeconomic fundamentals, which are working now. We have a stable shilling. We have inflation that is manageable. We have forex reserves that are sufficient enough to cushion us. If we lose or we take our eyes off the ball just for a minute, then we will go back to probably where we were heading. Yeah. By the way, Trevor, if you allow me, I would say this. Do you know in 2021, IMF classified 6 countries in Africa: Angola, Ghana, Zambia, Ethiopia, Chad, and Kenya, as candidates for default in paying their debts. 5 of them have all defaulted. It's only Kenya that has survived this far. We must make sure that Kenya survives. Yeah. That is why we overtook Ethiopia, because they defaulted in paying their debts. Okay. They were restructured.
But
we cannot go that route.
There's a concern from the people that that reduction in the education sector of 600 million is going to affect the school feeding program. Which feeds 50,000 of their students.
No, Trevor will answer that. Actually, the one that he raised was with regards to capitation. But the school feeding program is coming down from 3.6 to 3 billion. The 600 reduction is not going to affect school feeding program. We have done an assessment that school feeding program has been abused. There is a lot of corruption around it. People are moving around with briefcase, asking when that money will be released so that they can eat the money. We have provided enough money for school feeding program. What we have not provided is money for theft. And the people who are fighting back, I will tell you, the people who are fighting back that they want more money for school feeding program are people who are used to using this provision to get money in their pockets by exaggerating the food that is not even going to our children. We have said that 3 billion is enough. We are going to make sure that we follow through so that it is utilized effectively and efficiently to provide food to the children of Kenya who need it, not to people who are going to build houses and buy big houses with the money that is supposed to feed our children. The 3 billion is enough for feeding our children. It is not enough for those who want to steal it. Okay. So let me just finish with the JERA.
Yeah.
What JERA is talking about slightly is about unfairness in resource allocation. That is what you are talking about. Where you can find a ward with a public school, without a public school, and yet others have 30, 20. That is unfairness in resource allocation. And this unfairness must be cured. One of the initiatives that Kenyans took, the decision that we took was to bring devolution. Devolution was to address unfairness. But still, even with the devolution, there can be unfairness within the devolved unit. We must make sure that we put systems in place to deal with that unfairness. Okay. And that is why I support the bill that is coming, that is before Parliament, which is pushing through to the devolved units a method and a formula of, again, redistributing the resources that are allocated to the county. But let me tell you this. This unfairness, we must now speak about it openly and publicly. When you come to Nairobi, there is no reason why one place people should live in squalor and others are living comfortably. It is not that we are calling for a society that is equal. There can never be equality. But equity must be emphasized. Okay. And it is not just in Nairobi alone. It is not just in Nairobi. I will give you 2 examples. For the first time, Dadaab constituency is going to see tarmac road. Yet there are constituencies which have tarmac roads everywhere, including into people's homes. For the first, you are seeing a major road project in Northeastern Province, what used to be Northeastern Province, for the first time, which is running all the way from Meru to Isiolo, goes all the way to Garissa, to Wajir, and to Mandera. 740 kilometers, funded by World Bank. It is happening now. Yet we are 62 years into independence. All right. I have to give this example. So many questions, Trevor, I am so passionate about this example. I must give this last one. Okay. The last example I'll give is, I have told you that there are people who have water up to their bedrooms, including myself, isn't it? Especially here in Nairobi. Yet, the children in Tana River have been eaten by crocodiles over the years since we got independence because of a bridge of 100 million shillings. So for the first time, we provided 200 million shillings to do 2 bridges. The children crossing from one side of the river to the other side to go to school have died in their hundreds because we cannot, no one sees it important to allocate 100,000 to put up a bridge, yet we can put money for people to eat in the name of school feeding program. Okay. And we defend. All right. Please, we must talk about equality and equity openly. Okay.
Thank you. I want to open the floor. Kindly, if you have a question, just state your name and go straight to the question so that we get as many as possible. And I see all the hands are up. So we'll take 5 questions. Waziri answers them really brief, then another 5. Start with you. Just your name and the question.
My name is Ramadan Hussein, a resident of Kibra here. My question is on education. Waziri, we've seen confusion in the education sector about the bursaries. The common mzazi anauliza, why should we have the bursary on MCA, mbunge, governor, women rep, na president? Whereas the ministry can organize these funds to be consolidated and made free education. So that mlalahoi wa Kibra can have that confidence that my child will study from primary all through to secondary freely.
Thank you, Ramadan. So Ramadan's question is on bursary consolidation. Yes, the next behind you, yes.
Asante sana Bwana Waziri na viongozi mliofika hapa. Jina langu ni Edwin Ndeda. Jina langu ni Edwin Ndeda. Ningependa kujua kwa masuala ya wanawake, vijana na watu ambao wanaishi na ulemavu, na kukua tu very clear ni kwamba mimi sisomi hiyo ya propaganda. Mimi nasoma the finance bill kwamba kuna proposed taxation kwa scrap dealers. So utakuja utapata kwamba wenye wanafanya hizi kazi sana sana ni wale vijana, wale wamama pamoja na wale walemavu, na tunahisi kwamba hii itatufinyilia sana haswa sisi ambao tunajaribu kujipatia kazi. Alafu pia ukijaribu kuangalia mashirika yasiyokuwa ya kiserikali yanatusaidia sana kufanya ile kazi ambayo serikali imeshindwa kufanya. Haswa hapa hivi Kibra ambapo sisi hata kama mimi ni maskini sana, lakini ningependa kujua hiyo VAT exemption kwa hizo mambo za charity ambazo zina deal na kutusaidia kupata huduma za kiafya, kupata tuseme vitu kama hizi crutches pamoja na hizo vitu za disability na hizo vitu zingine, tunazipata namna gani? Ya mwisho Waziri, vijana wengi wanajitafutia kazi na wanajitafutia kazi kwa njia ya informal settlement, na tumeona kwamba kuna proposed introduction kwa vitu kama e-bikes alafu na vitu za mobile phones. Itakuwaje tunasema tunataka kuimprove digital economy kwa huu mkono wa kuongeza na huu mwingine unajaribu kutoa? Asante.
Okay, thank you so much. Swali moja tu tafadhali ndio tupate hiyo nafasi ya kuuliza as many of us as possible. Just your name and your question.
My name is Owino Kutieno. Asante sana Bwana Waziri. I only have one. Last year, Appropriations Act and the budget statement didn't have estimates on revenue and expenditures. Can you give a commitment, or rather an undertaking, that this year in the appropriations and budget statements we shall see a column on revenues and expenditures, so that when we borrow, we can actually tell this money is going to this particular activity, so that the issues of these odious debts can as well be addressed.
Okay.
When you came into office, you spoke passionately about austerity measures. Today, we have over 40 advisors in one particular office. We also have expenditures on State House that is still serving us well. Why don't we have clear prioritization that is going to help these people, so that we do not have advisors, yet Kenya is still reeling economically? No one is seeing the dividends of these advisors. Can you put your shoes down and even sack some advisors, because we are still poor with over 40 advisors? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's take another question behind you. Yes, ma'am. Tafadhali.
Kwa majina naitwa Amina Aminala. Amina Aminala. Waziri, nimependa kukuuliza mambo mawili. Kwanza kuhusu education. Wiki mbili zilizopita unatuambia sahi education ni bure. Wiki mbili zilizopita waziri alikuwa akiongea kwa bunge, wazazi watakuja anza kulipa school fees. Tuambiwe mapema lini tutalipa school fees, kwa sababu hata heri tulipe school fees, kwa sababu kila siku shilingi 2, shilingi 3, ukimaliza mwaka hiyo pesa imekutosha kulipa school fees. Ya pili, Wakati uliingia kwa hiyo ofisi, ulisema unataka kuona wale unawataja hapa. Hatujasikia umeshika mmoja. Waizi hujawashika.
Okay.
Tungependa ushike wawili ama mmoja, tuwaseme Mbadi alifanya kazi.
All right, asante Amina. Waziri, you can answer the question very briefly so that we take a next set. Just be patient. Pass the microphones to the back side by the edge. Just answer them very briefly, then we come to the next set of questions. Yes.
Ramadan Hussein, I think he asked about consolidation of various bursaries into one kitty that would be consolidated to pay and provide free education. I think this has been talked about. It's probably a plausible strategy or step, but it is a political question because some of the bursaries sit in CDF, NGCDF. You can see your honorable member is here. I don't know how willing he is to allow that. And you know there are policy makers.
He has already said we will not allow.
There are policy makers. If Parliament does not approve any policy, it will not work. So it is something that needs to be considered because bursary under NGCDF is about 23 billion. We have for women affirmative action. There is money in the counties. If we could consolidate all of them, probably we may be able to provide free education.
Okay.
On
taxation.
Edwin Ndeda, scrap dealers taxes. I think you are talking about a provision in the finance bill where we are defining them as income. Already the tax is there, but there was ambiguity that they were not defined as sources of income. That is the scrap that you have talked about, and it's also about other things like goods supplied to public institutions were not being, initially were not attracting withholding tax, but later that was amended. Today what we are doing is just to define this as income because the tax was already there in the first place. So we are not bringing any new tax on scrap dealers. I'm yet to see that in the finance bill. On persons living with a disability and charity work, and it is allowed. You can seek tax exemption if you are providing some of these facilities. But you know, to avoid abuse, because if we just allow it open-ended, it will be abused. So you have to apply through the normal process to the cabinet secretary, who is myself, through the line ministry, and we will approve it. We approve many of them, almost daily. So we will approve that. If you have no way of reaching us, we will find a way of making sure that you reach us. On e-bikes and mobile phone, we are not putting these to VAT. We are not subjecting them to VAT, but we are moving them from zero-rated to exempt. The reason is simple. Our tax policy is to discourage zero rating of commodities. It is being abused and it is not passed to the consumers. These people, these are scrupulous businessmen and women. What they do is to convince you that if we remove these items from zero rating to exempt, they will be more expensive. The truth is they are the ones who are benefiting. And the worst part of it is that they are making fictitious claims. Zero rating, the negative side of zero-rated commodities is that you claim input tax. And many business people would want zero-rated commodities, to trade in zero-rated commodities, so that they make claims that are fictitious, they come to KRA, they collude with officers there, and they get money which does not belong to them. And the danger is this. That money which they are being paid is your money. You toil, you go to work every morning, you pay tax, then somebody with big business comes and takes it in the name of zero rating. What we are saying, we are discouraging zero rating, we want to go exempt. We exempt commodities, both input and output, so that the net effect is neutral. Like even the fertilizer that people are talking about. There is no way fertilizer is going to be more expensive because we have exempted the output and we have exempted the input for the manufacture of fertilizer. So even if we zero-rated, where will you claim? And the input is already exempt.
Okay.
The people who are creating this fear among Kenyans are people who have, over the years, stolen public money by making claims at the Kenya Revenue Authority. We have claims that we cannot even service, running into 500 billion shillings, because some Kenyans who have the advantage, of making these claims and make and get the money. Let me give you an example, quick one. They say, although we still fear the bread, we have not subjected it to any change of tax rate because we are aware it will have been used as a propaganda tool. But I will tell you, it is abused. You zero-rate bread. What these people who make bread do is they don't employ people who bake bread. They employ accountants to cook books, take to KRA, make claims. So they are not even baking bread. And why do we zero-rate bread for John Mbadi? Because the bread that is zero-rated, there is no supermarket for you and supermarket for His Excellency President Ruto. We all buy from the same supermarket, and we buy bread that is zero-rated, that's subsidized for all of us. It is not proper. But anyway, for the time being, because bread is sensitive, tumewacha.
Okay.
But I will tell you, it is a waste of public resources.
Okay.
Let me move quickly to the last one, or the second last. Yes, Otieno, Owino.
Yeah.
Owino, our budget has revenue and expenditure. That's why we are mentioning revenue will collect 2.75 trillion ordinary revenue. It's in the budget books. We will also collect 560. We'll get 46 billion. And then there will be the loan of 876. And then there is expenditure. Austerity measures. We are doing so many things, by the way, that we have implemented, number one, e-procurement. From July 1st, all procurement are going to be done on e-platform.
Yeah.
This idea of carrying books is going to stop, where after you have submitted tenders, someone comes and plugs a page, and then you are disqualified, even if you are the lowest bidder, that will go. But on your austerity measure that you talked about, advisors, each CS now, cabinet secretary, including myself, has only one advisor. And that's implemented uniformly across government. There used to be two, now it is one. But if you are talking about advisors at State House, that is the president's advisors. How do you want me to sack that? Those ones. So the only thing I can do is you can ask me to go and maybe advise the president to reduce maybe the number of advisors. But again, if you are head of state, you need also to understand the entire government, and you may need some advice. But the advisors are there, but again, the ministers, we are also there. And by the way, you know, the person who is advised is the one who can say whether there is value or not. I would just be speculating. So, you know, if these people are not advising me, how would I know whether there is value or not? But let me tell you, we have space also to advise the president. And by the way, I'm the primary advisor to the president on economic matters, financial matters, and we are working very well.
Okay.
It is also good to have people with different opinion.
Yeah.
Actually, sometimes I enjoy it a lot when we meet with people who have contrary opinion and we disagree. My director for budget is here. He knows how sometimes we disagree even with him. And by the way, I listen to him at that time. I don't tell him, I'm your boss, don't talk. I allow him to talk, because for us to run this economy, we need divergent opinion, and then we agree on the best strategy to adopt.
Okay, finally on Amina.
On final, Amina.
Yes.
Amina, I want to repeat, if there are schools which are charging school fees, please, or levies, they should stop. Because we are providing money to support free primary, free JSS, and also subsidize secondary education.
Okay.
3 days secondary we provide.
All right.
If there is any levies, should be for food, because we don't provide food to high school students.
All right.
Corruption, why I have not arrested? I don't have arresting powers.
Okay.
How I wish I was able to arrest.
All right.
Actually, the arresting powers is with other bodies. We have ESCC that does investigation, DCI, they do investigation, and they can arrest.
Okay.
Then the prosecution is by Director of Public Prosecution.
All right.
My role is to put in place systems that would deter corruption, like e-procurement, like zero-based budget, like accrual accounting, and I'm doing that.
All right. Let me pass the microphone back there. People at the back have not asked a question. Let's take 5 questions hapa nyuma tafadhali. Tupitishe microphone huku nyuma. Tafadhali, let's pass the microphone back there. Inua the microphone hapa nyuma. Tupitishe microphone nyuma tafadhali. Watu wa mbele wameuliza maswali sana. Tupitisha kwa hiyo madama hapo nyuma kidogo. Maswali 5 tu mbio mbio tukiendelea. Pass the microphone hapa Ibra. There's a lady over there. Yes, ma'am, endelea. Hapa. Yes.
Okay, all protocols observed. My name is Judith Shitabule Adhiambo. Judith, niko na swali kama mwananchi, the local mwananchi. Na maswali yangu ni haya. We are talking about the finance bill kwa saizi. Na kuna a lot of ignorance kwetu kama mwananchi wa kawaida, hatujaiona hiyo kitu, hatujaiangalia, but today we are here in public participation. Swali langu ni maoni yenye yanatolewa haya yatakuwa included ama tumekuja kuraba stamp?
Okay.
Haya, swali la pili.
Swali moja tu tafadhali. Aulize ya pili bibi basi. Moja, sema ikutoke. Sawa, sema ikutoke.
Tumeongea story mingi kuhusu SHA. UHC, PHC, that is universal health coverage na primary health coverage. Na kuna pia CHP hapo. CHP is the lowest person kwa hiyo primary health coverage. CHP is given a stipend of 2,500. That is nationally. CHP hana health cover. We are so much exposed. Kwa hiyo budget or the finance bill, kuna mahali tumewekwa ama tuko tu hivyo?
Okay.
Na duka zetu ni zile moja.
Asante Judy. Asante. Asante Judy. Haya, next question hapa. Yes. Tutisha microphone nyuma. Kule nyuma kuna moja. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm Mildred Malwa, a resident of Kibra, Makina Ward.
Malwa.
Malwa. Mildred Malwa.
Okay.
My question goes directly to healthcare. You've told us very well that you've inputted a certain amount of money to cater for the national referral hospitals. As common mwananchi wa Kibra, as much as we have SHA in place, SHA caters for inpatient. We are having our patients who are coming even to the health facilities before they get referral to the next level, up to the national referral systems, hospitals. So what are you putting in place to cater for the health facilities that are within the community? For instance, you go to Kibiradio Health Center, you are examined, and yet you are, after all, you are being given a prescription without even the medicines. So the medicines are not in place. 2, the other time, just last month, we were having an issue of cancer patients not getting services at Kenyatta National Hospital. And that is a national referral center for cancer patients. Our patients are dying. What are you putting in place to cater for such incidents that happens in our country?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mildred. Another question?
Kwa jina naitwa Hassan Abdulkadir Salim.
Yes, Hassan.
Waziri, nimesikia umetaja mambo ya health na SHA. SHA ukikata kwa saa hii, ukitaka kulipa ile 500 vile tulizoea kulipa ile NHIF, unaambiwa lazima ulipe 6,000. Na kuna mtu mshahara wake ni hiyo 6,000. Mimi nauliza, unaweza peana 6,000 ulale njaa? Lakini ukiambia utoe 500, unaweza toa 500, usipe 200 to 5,500 familia ikule. Ya pili, finance bill kuna mahali nasema KRA inaweza pewa nguvu ya kuingilia mali ya mtu, na tukirudi kwa katiba ya Kenya kuna haki ya private. Sasa mimi nilikuwa nauliza itakuwaje na utatupea njia gani ile tutafuata, ndio isikuje kuleta shida. Ya mwisho,
asante Hassan.
Ya mwisho, baada moja ya mwisho, kwa sababu ukisikia wabunge wanalia wamekuwa neglected, na wao ndio tumewachagua wafike kwa ground, watoe mambo kwa ground, iende kwa bunge, wajenge policy, kuna shida. Kwa sababu mambo haiwezi enda vizuri, waziri hawezi kufanya kazi vizuri kama ma policy makers wana complain. Mimi nilikuwa naomba hivyo. Wabunge kuna zile vitu wanaweza pitisha kwa bunge na ikuwe ni sheria. Ikuje kwako na ikuwe ni sheria. Ya pili, baba yetu Raila Amolo Odinga alisema ya mwisho, alisema vitu zikuwe devolved system. Kwa sababu ma MCA wenyewe hawana pesa na tulikuwa na World Development Fund. Pia wapewe hiyo. Ndio devolved.
Asante Hassan, swali ya mwisho hapa. Alafu mama pia ameinua mkono sana. Tafadhali tumpe microphone hapa mbele.
Trevor, nampe mic.
Yes.
Yes, Bwana Waziri, my name is Gabriel Odira, aka Pado, and for the purposes of setting the record straight, I'm the only person after Raila Odinga to be voted in, unopposed and in absentia. That is just on a lighter note. My question is this, Bwana Waziri. I have 3 questions, but I'll ask them under 1 minute. Under 1 minute. My first question is this. Is there money considered for the retirees? Because what I'm asking is not isolated on me, because there are retirees who are dying of stress-related diseases because their money has not been paid, paid to them.
Money for retirees. Thank you, Gabriel.
Second question is this.
Very brief.
Yeah, very brief, and they are a bit direct. Kindly, Bwana CS, protect me from Trevor. My second question is this.
Yes.
My second question is this.
Very brief, yes.
I had the opportunity to lead the Kazim Mtaani back in 2022, and I was one of the lead supervisors. And I've been carrying your yoke, Bwana Waziri, because I was the lead supervisor. You never paid us for 2 shifts. And if I calculated that amount, it was about, for Kibra alone, it was about 53 million. That is 2 shifts. And in the whole country, it's about 1 billion.
Okay.
Please retract that money and pay us, because the government is going to...
Asante. Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you, Gabriel. That will be answered. Yes. Gabriel, no, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's already midnight, Gabriel. Your questions are 3. They've been answered. They'll be answered. Gabriel, tafadhali. Yes, ma'am. Swali ya mwisho, tafadhali.
Haya, kwa majina, naitwa Asha Said. Mimi ni mkaaji hapa Kibra. Haya, swali yangu ya kwanza. Nimesikia mumeongea nini mambo ya barabara. Na mimi nasema hapa Kibra tuko na shida ya drainage. Kitu ya kwanza. Kitu ya pili, tuko na security lights. Kitu ya tatu, boy child. Kitu ya 4, children and mothers safety. Ya mwisho kabisa, wazee healthcare yao.
Haya. Waziri, I think you should answer the questions. It's almost midnight. And by that, I've been informed that you have another open public session on Wednesday, is it? In Kamkunji. So those who have questions that have not been answered, Waziri, this is your chance. And then I'll come to the other panelists to give their remarks as we close, because it's already midnight now. Waziri, start with Judy.
Yeah, I think the first question was from Judy. Judy asked 2 questions. One, she wanted to know, actually she indicated very correctly that there is a lot of ignorance around finance bill. Watu wengi wajui ni nini iko ndani ya hii bill. Na hiyo ni ukweli. And that is why tunajaribu kuengage na wananchi ili muelewe vizuri ni nini iko kwa finance bill na nini haiko. Vile my sister there mentioned very important things and very emotional things, but fortunately they were not in the finance bill of 2025. So that is why we are engaging. And I've said we have even done some debates or engagements in vernacular stations. This is not the end. We have made progress. We are better than probably last year. We are also learning. Probably next year we will do better, Judy. But this year we are almost towards the tail end. Okay? However, your comments, your sentiments, this thing is still being processed, this bill. It's still with the Finance Committee. This afternoon, I had engagement with the Finance Committee. If there is anything that I feel is of serious concern in the Finance Bill, I still have a channel to push it to Parliament for amendment. So it is not in vain. On UHC payment, whether we have money to pay, yes, it is 2,500 from the national government and a corresponding 2,500 from county. That is the agreement. So you should be getting 5,000 in total per month. That is how it should be. That's how I know it. If you are not getting any portion of that money, then that is either corruption or an explanation needs to be offered. But you should be paid that. Do you deserve more? Yes, certainly you do. Probably the problem we have is the fiscal space. What do we take away? What do we put in? But remember, you used to get nothing. There was a period you were getting nothing. Then you started getting, I think, 600 or 500. Now it is 5,000. Let's progress it further, but it is some milestone that has been covered. On Mildred's question, SHA, catering for inpatient only, I think the reason why probably there has been challenge with outpatient is because outpatient should be funded through primary health care fund. And primary health care fund, we had 5 billion only last year. This year we have upscaled that. I mean, we had 7 billion. This year we have scaled it to 13.1. So that's additional 6. That we think will provide more support to even outpatient, those who are not being admitted. On facilities, under this SHA, there is Facility Improvement Fund, which is supposed to come to the facilities, including the lowest level, to improve them. You don't expect a child to be born today and start walking. And that is the mistake that we almost committed when we castigated and gave SHA a very bad name, and yet we were just starting to implement it. Remember, implementation of SHA just began in October last year. Give it time. It is going to get better with time. We are also learning where there are weaknesses. One of the things that SHA has cured is that those who are stealing money using NHIF, actually those are the hospitals that were making a lot of noise. Now, even mission hospitals, the reason why they were making noise, they thought that they were not going to be paid through SHA. NHIF was paying them. Now, talk to those mission hospitals. They have indicated that they didn't understand SHA. Now they support it. Let us progressively move by supporting SHA. It is working, it will work. By the way, those who have had sick people, especially chronic diseases, and I know many of us, I'm one of them. Many of us are appreciating SHA. Those who have had critically ill patients, you will agree with me that you would have paid a fortune for your loved ones. But SHA has helped you. I have been helped twice. One of my very strong supporters, and I can see in this room, they know the person I'm referring to, died in St. Camilla's, Karungu, Migori County. I thought I was going to pay a lot of money. I paid nothing apart from mortuary bill. My own nephew, I buried the other day, 2nd of May. I only paid 69,000 shillings, which was for some doctor's consultation, specialist. The rest covered by SHA. I don't want to belabor the point. On cancer patients, we have provided money to Kenyatta National Hospital for what we call strengthening of cancer management at KNH. The government is alive to what happened in KNH. We provided money for it. A responsible government is a government that listens, a government that is alert. We were alert to what happened to Kenyatta National Hospital. On Abdul Kadir, again, SHA. He's saying that SHA is paying 6,000. You know, there are people who are paying very low compared to what they were paying in NHIF because of your capacity and ability. So there is a mean testing. If you have mean tested wrongly, then you have the right to complain. There is a procedure of complaining. But chances are, if you are paying 6,000, then you must be able to pay that 6,000. And probably, I think, Abdul Kadir, you are one of the people who are capable in the room. I suspect. That's why you are paying 6,000. The others are paying 300 and all that. Now, data protection law. Yes, allow me to demystify and debunk this propaganda around amendments that we are proposing on Tax Procedures Act, Section 59. Section 59 of the Tax Procedures Act was put there for a reason. And I hope you will understand this. Kenya, KRA assesses our tax based on our own self-assessment. Every year we do self-assessment returns. Mnaambiwa June imefika, file your returns, ndio? Now, how does KRA determine that what you have self-assessed is correct? Presently, the way the law is crafted, and which was a mistake done by National Assembly, initially it was not like that. Initially, the law was clear. KRA could get your information, financial information, and assess whether you are paying correct tax. But Parliament, National Assembly, sneaked in a proposal, an amendment, which said personal data, and they mentioned personal data and trade secrets should not be, that KRA cannot access those ones. Now, this is bringing complication. Because what is the personal data? If you don't define it, it is too wide. And KRA's hands are tied. So you find so many people who should be paying taxes are not paying taxes because they are hiding behind personal data. What KRA wants, or what we are proposing, is KRA should be able to integrate with the banking institutions to see your financial data. Those who are not tax cheats have nothing to worry about. People who are complaining about this thing are money launderers. People who are passing money through the system and they are not paying tax on them because it is not income, but it is money that has been stolen. So they are passing it through the system. Those are the people who fear. KRA has been here from 1995. There is not even a single case where KRA has disclosed personal data of anybody. And by the way, if KRA gets information about your information in the bank, which they are allowed to do anyway, except that it is tedious to be applying when they want to know something about me, they apply to the bank to give them the information. They want it to be automatic. What is so difficult if KRA asks for my information about my bank, where a bank in cooperative bank, if I have nothing to hide? There is nothing about my girlfriend or whatever which KRA will get from the bank, the banking information. So what is this personal thing? What do we fear? Do we murder people with our bank accounts? So what is this trade secret? There is no trade secret in the bank. And I will tell you, people who are fighting this provision are people who are benefiting and profiting from illicit money flows in the system. Not you. I don't see anyone here who is a money launderer. I'm not seeing. And you are being used to help them fight that, oh, now your personal data will be exposed. The Data Protection Act is still in place. No one will come for your personal information. KRA cannot even. KRA's interest is only on financial information, not your personal secrets or whatever it is. And if, by the way, where they are going to source for this information, there is no personal secret. These are banks, these are financial institutions. So it is a alarmist statement for nothing. Let me quickly, where was this now? Where am I?
Gabriel, money for retirees.
Gabriel, money for retirees.
Yes.
Yes, true. Money for retirees, you know, in Kenya we have had a very funny, weak pension system. And that is why we have moved to defined contribution system through public service superannuation scheme. But the money that government can provide is only the social protection fund, which we have enhanced from 18 billion to 25 billion. But we cannot, as a country, afford a welfare system at this stage. We are struggling even to pay our debts. We cannot be a welfare society like the in the US, where they support cases of people who cannot afford. We cannot afford a decent life. We are just trying to help the elderly, those who are over 70 and have nothing. We are supporting the vulnerable children and the persons with the disability. But for pension, we have implemented a policy, this public service superannuation, those who are working in the public sector. We also have KNEST now, which my ministry is trying to promote, to help the informal sector also to save for the future and for rainy days. On Kazi Mtaani, I don't know about this money of 1 billion or whatever it is, Gabriel. That one you may need to claim like any other person who is owed money by government. And then we will process it the normal way and see if at all we owe you money. But if we don't owe you money, please don't kill us. But the Kazi Mtaani is coming back, you're aware. It's going to employ over 100,000 people. I think ASA.
Yeah.
ASA. Quick things, drainage in Kibra. To be honest, that should be fixed by the counties. Mm-hmm. And I think we probably just need to converse with the counties whether we are adequately financing them or funding them to be able to do that. Even security lights, by the way, should be a county responsibility.
Okay.
On boy child, I want to agree with you. We have forgotten the boy child so much. Those of us who are parents here, please take more interest on your sons. We have emphasized too much on daughters. We need to think about sons equally. Okay. Because these our daughters will not have husbands.
All right.
The way I see things.
All right.
They will have a problem.
I think that's it, Waziri.
And the children and mother safety, again, we have made some provisions here to support some of the vulnerable cases.
All right.
I would have gone.
Let me take just 3 burning questions here. And Bernard has a microphone. Yes, Bernard. Just 3 burning
questions.
Really
Thank you very much, Waziri. One is, my wife, only question is about, you've talked about equity in distribution of national resources. And to that end, Waziri, I would like to ask a specific question on payment of pending bills, the provisions that have been made, because that will contribute to enabling resource distribution and also completion of major infrastructure projects that are pending. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Engineer Bernard Oduno, a resident of Kibra in Nairobi in the city, but also a resident of Suba South and also an aspiring politician. Okay. That will also help us greatly improve our roads, more so like in Suba South where I come from, roads that you are very familiar with, His Excellency.
All right.
Kindly comment on the pending bills so that we can see the progress on our stalled infrastructure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. There's no one who's spoken from this side.
Waziri.
Hapa na swali, tumpatie microphone hapa. Ikona tuliongelesha mtu yote. Let's pass the microphone. Bernard, let me have the microphone back here. Hii area kuna mtu amesema.
Waziri, my name is Honorable Lawi.
Hold on 1 second, Honorable Lawi. Let's pass the microphone back here. Saidia na microphone tafadhali. Hapa hivi hakuna mtu ameongea.
I need to protect him from Ombija.
Yes. Back there, ma'am, ndio hapo impatie. Okay, the two of you, really fast. Swali moja tu tafadhali.
Habari zenyu? Kwa majina mimi naitwa Judith Agwambo. Mimi niko upande wa beauties. Warembo mpo? Sasa mimi nauliza swali hii. In the beauty industry, vitu za kutengeneza nywele zimekuwa juu sana. Hata ukiambia customer braid unauza pesa fulani, hata anashindwa unamuibia.
Okay.
So it's too high for the
cosmetics industry. Asante, Mama Judy, yes.
My name is Helen Tisi.
Sorry?
And, Helen Tisi.
Helen.
Yes. And I have a question to Waziri. And I want to confirm that I've not read the social media bill, but the actual bill. You've just confirmed to us that there are some amendments that you've done that have added. I want to confirm that the Finance Bill 2025 is not adding taxes directly, but you have added, however, proposed however, proposals to add taxes have been hidden in so many articles. One you've just confirmed to us, which is the Data Protection Act, and there are so many like the excise duty tax, the value addition tax, and so on, so that you can reach us in a way or the other. My question is, so many things have been added, have been talked about health, but me, I'd want to talk about the companies. How do you justify the provision in the Finance Bill 2025 that appear to be driving companies out of Kenya and discouraging local production, with at least 24 companies confirmed to have relocated?
All right. Thanks, Helen. Wapi Honorable Lawi? Yes.
Thank you. My name is Honorable Lawi. Just a quick one, Waziri. You know very well that NMS built around 3 hospitals in Kibra. One is in Sarangombe, level 3. One is in Lainsaba, and the other one is in High Rise. And they are there just by the name hospitals. And there is no drugs. There is no any drugs on those hospitals. In your budget that maybe you will pass on Thursday, can you tell us maybe how much will you allocate so that those hospitals in our areas get the drugs in those areas?
All right.
That's my question.
Thank you, Honorable Lawi. Waziri, answer the questions, and then I'll come to the rest of our panelists. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
No, hold on one second, Waziri. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Catherine. Waziri, nataka kuuliza, ulitenga pesa ya malaria and HIV. Our patients for HIV, are they safe? Because tulisikia President wa Amerika alifunga dawa hazikuji Kenya. So wako safe? Dawa tutapata kutoka mali zingine ama wagonjwa wetu watakosa dawa?
Asante, Catherine. Waziri, you can answer them very briefly, and then I'll come to panelist Orero.
Thank you.
And Alai to also give their comments.
Let me answer quickly so that I can give opportunity to my colleagues also to respond. To react on the issues raised by Engineer Omondi, Odono, on pending bills. We constituted a pending bills committee. That committee is almost concluding its work. By end of this month, they will have concluded the work of assessing the pending bills. They received a total of 663 billion worth of pending bills. By the time they gave me the preliminary report, they had done 574 billion worth of pending bills. Out of that, they had only cleared 229 billion for payments. Now, I am sure even if they clear the rest, it will be just about 300 billion in total. Now, the 229, almost bills worth over 80 billion was under roads, which already we are paying. As we speak, most of the road contractors are back on the roads, if you move across the country. And we have allocated this budget, very good budgetary allocation for the financial year 25-26, because we didn't want to just pay contractors and then we don't provide budget for the work that they will do. So we are attending and addressing the roads, and I agree with you, we both come from a constituency which literally have not been having roads, but I'm happy that some work is going on. So the roads will be completed. Judith, beauty industry, cosmetics, too expensive. I think we need to understand why that is the case. I may not have direct answer for this, but I think maybe the support we should be giving business ladies and business women like you is to look for how to fund or give you affordable loans, because I think that is where the challenge is, so that you are able to procure this. And that is where the Ministry of Cooperatives and MSMEs resides. So this is something that I've taken up. Lawi, you have asked me about hostels being put up or were put up in Kibra. No drugs. You see, provision and supply of drugs 2 below level 6 hostels is a function of county governments. The only thing that we have done is to give capacity to KEMSA, and we have provided 5 billion in this budget to recapitalize KEMSA, to have KEMSA have more money to buy drugs and supply to county hospitals cheaply. That is the facilitation that we are giving. But the challenge we have had, and you can help us as MCS, is when KEMSA then supplies drugs to your hospitals, they are not paid. And so we get back again to the problem of recapitalizing. So we are coming up with a system which may lock the money that is payable to KEMSA at the CRF account. Because we can't continue in this cycle where we capitalize KEMSA. Since I became a CS, we have recapitalized KEMSA twice. Now we are going to do it a third time. And I think that is not sustainable. Kenyan public wants other services as well. So that is that. Now, Helen, again, I want to repeat to you, my sister, there are no hidden taxes in this finance bill. If it is, Kenyans are very intelligent, by the way. I'm not the only person who understands taxation in this country. Am I? Why can't these intelligent Kenyans tell us these hidden taxes? Why are they so general? And you can see they just want to whip emotions and tell you, these people are telling you there are no more taxes, they are not charging you, they have hidden. Why can't they come out and say in this clause, and I have the bill here, I would love to engage them in any debate. In this bill, they point to me the clause, that clause such and such has hidden a tax, which if we pass it tomorrow, the cost of such and such will be this high. Well, since when did we become too general like this as Kenyans? Last year, when I was in the opposition proper, I was very clear on, and I communicated to Kenyans. And I told you this one is going to make life difficult, this one is going to make life expensive, and I was mentioning specifics. And they were in the bill. And even the president later on withdrew the bill. And even parliamentarians amended some of the clauses in the bill, even after it was said not even a comma should be removed. Why is it not happening this time? Why can't they point out those ones? So that we also tell them, okay, fine, we agree, we are going to remove them. These are people who are playing politics with my bill, and I'm not going to allow it. That's why I'm engaging Kenyans directly. I am not the kind of a person who will just sit there and watch as they politicize a bill which I've worked so hard for. I am going to engage them like I'm now engaging you. I want them to come here, whether they are called who or who. Instead of going to the rallies and speaking out there, let them constitute a panel like this, like I've done this evening, and speak to Kenyans through this channel. Trevor, you will deny them opportunity. Let them come. Let them send their best experts. The opposition, see, they have people who understand finance. I believe so. If they don't, then they have no business talking about leading this country. If they don't even have people who can explain to you financial matters. So how will they run our economy? Let them come and sit with you the way I've sat with you up to midnight and tell us the weak points in this bill.
All right.
Lastly,
on HIV and AIDS, yes.
You talked about companies
closing shop,
fleeing, basically running away from Kenya. There could be some of those cases, and we are addressing, if there is a business environment that is discouraging investment in Kenya, we must arrest it. Tanzania is competing us here. Rwanda is competing us. We are alive to that. That is why we brought Business Laws Amendment Bill in December, which became Act of Parliament on 27th of December, to make it easy to do business in Kenya. In this bill, which the propagandists are telling you is bad and has hidden things, has a provision on Nairobi International Financial Center, NIFCA. We are providing incentives for foreign direct investment into this country, which are certified by NIFCA.
Okay.
so that those huge investments, those who are investing 3 billion and above, have a lot of benefits. They will be paying 15% instead of 30% corporation tax for 10 years, and again 20% for another 10 years. We are attracting financial institutions to come here. Do you know when they come here, what happens? They will employ our people. They will employ our children. Do you know what will happen? Kenya, Nairobi will be financial hub.
Okay.
That is what we are working on. Those are some of the things we are doing.
Yeah.
Finally, Catherine Okoth, you have asked, Mheshimiwa, you've asked a very good, valid question about HIV and malaria. We have provided for money so that we are not caught flat-footed, because we are not American government responsibility. They help us when they want. And if they are not ready to help, we cannot castigate them. The best thing to do, we cannot even condemn them, because their interest is their people. Now, for us as a country, we must readjust. We must realign. And that's why we are providing 18 billion to take care of malaria and HIV, so that we don't roll back on the gains we have made. Now, where to source for the medicine in the event that the market is locked? And I doubt whether they will lock the market, because they want to sell their drugs to us and everybody else. Even if they lock it, there are other areas where these drugs are manufactured and produced. They are produced in China, they are produced in India, they are produced all over the place. I am sure the Ministry of Health, through KEMSA and other people who are ordering for drugs, will get drugs from those places and supply to our domestic.
All right, Honorable Lai, you've read this finance bill, you know what the budget estimates are.
Thank you.
Do you have any concerns, or is it a good document in your assessment as a leader yourself, so that as we wind up on this conversation?
My microphone is working.
I believe they can pass the handheld microphone. Here you go. In summary, as you wind up.
Yes, I think my biggest concern is on the CHPs, the community health promoters. Okay. You know, I think that they are just they're just slightly above 100,000, which, if you were to provide them with that health cover, will not be more than 700 million per year. So I believe that they can be provided with the SHA cover for free as part of work benefit. So I think that are the CSUD.
Thank you. Orero, as we wind up.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank the Citizen TV for bringing this forum in Kibra especially. And also the CS has been here for 5 hours. He started preparing at 7 to be here to make this forum a success. But I would urge him that the exchequer for capitation for schools, please work on it, because the most affected are the vulnerable Kibra people. So that it is received on time, and now the schools cannot charge extra fee.
All right.
Asante sana.
Thank you, Gerald.
Thank you too. First of all, allow me just a minute to humbly tell the CS that when the president went to Homa Bay, he left the people of Homa Bay celebrating and rejoicing because of the projects he took to Homa Bay. Today, the people of Kibra are enjoying the power. And as you know, the power is so sweet. The CS himself is here. Bwana CS, how will you remember you that you are here? Kindly, each ward within Kibra that have hosted you, this is the first time in 62 years. Kindly, in your budget, allocate a project per ward. That people from Makina, people from Lindi, Sarangombe, Woodley, and Rainsaba will forever be remembering you with.
Okay.
My just word, my word.
Yes.
I wanted to say that when I see as costing is a default function. And costing, for example, health sector, roads, agriculture, and everything, will help us understand how the monies are spent in the budget making.
Okay.
And in that regard, when I see CS, it is very easy to understand that counties do a lot the same thing that national government does.
Okay.
And therefore, this will help us understand that allocating 15% to the counties is not fair.
Okay.
It will help us understand that it is important to give counties 40 to 45%, because what they are doing is equal to what the national government is doing.
Understood.
Thank you so much.
All right, Waziri, 1 minute. closing remarks.
Not much. I think
the microphone is fine.
Baluk, I would agree.
Yeah.
I think that is something that we need to pursue, of giving that health cover, the SHA health cover to these dedicated people are working very hard. Thank you, capitation. Usually what we do with the capitation, we release it very quickly. Like for this term, we have released 100%. But I think we need to look for where we could get a little more resources to capitation. I agree the current provision may not be sufficient, but it is a good step forward.
All right.
On Jera. Jera now, you know, we are almost towards the tail end of the budget process, but I've already, in fact, informally, we agreed that we'll meet with the leadership of Kibra and see some of the few things that we could do going forward. I think that's what I would say for now. I also want to just thank you and thank the Citizen TV for providing this platform for us. But more particularly, I want to thank the residents of Kibra for engaging with me, being very peaceful, and engaging constructively. In fact, you have really jogged my mind. The questions you have asked me were not easy. They were tough ones. I hope I've not disappointed you. Thank you very much. I will look for a time now without Citizen TV. Tutakuja, tutaorganize na mheshimiwa hapa, tukae chini, tuongee maneno ya maendeleo and where we can help people going forward. Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for making time. Asanteni sana, and thank you for staying through the night. We appreciate. That is the Monday Report Town Hall session. Allow me to let the dignitaries leave first. Tafadhali, let the dignitaries leave first, and then we close the show at that point. Asanteni sana.